we have for our fourth challenge here, fourth and final, all strung out. This is a forensics challenge. It's actually not super hard. It's again a really common concept that you'll find with a lot of stuff, especially when you do like a reverse engineering or forensics challenge. But what we're going to do is it says first find the first flag in the evidence.zip. And there was actually kind of a funny thing with this. If you download this file, it outputs this file right here, this .zip archive, right? I never actually thought to extract the archive when I was verifying that I could solve these challenges. So I started running, for those who don't know, Strings is a Linux application. So when we can kind of pull from the name all strung out that we're probably going to be doing something with strings. And we'll explain what strings does here in a second. But anyhow, I started running strings on the zip file. And then I realized, oh, that's stupid. You can open it with the archive manager and find that there's a memory file in there. And that's really what you're supposed to be doing, but that's beside the point. Anyhow, point is sometimes you go down rabbit holes, and rabbit holes are fun. But yeah, don't stick to them sometimes, especially when doing CTFs. So what we have is we have this evidence.mem file here. It's a memory dump file. And if you actually analyze it a bunch, it's going to show you that there's actually, it's like an actual forensic dump of a running computer running a certain malware. So there's a couple things you can do. First, you can take this memory file and you can actually upload it to CyberChef. And you'll notice, let's see here. That's not what I want. I want the other one. CyberChef has a strings recipe. Just clear the recipe. Strings. You can actually run strings on a file. You can upload a file. We're going to do that. You know what? We got time. We're going to do that.
Yeah, we got time. We'll play with it. Let's do it live.
Let's open a file and we're going to go evidence.mem. Now, did I do a folder? I did a folder.
And if it doesn't work, remember it's GCHQ's fault.
Yeah. I just don't know if it can actually take a 2.1 gigabyte file, which appears like there might be an issue with that.
You could locally.
You can locally.
Yeah, so if you fork this down and grab it locally and run it, and someone in the Q&A, let me go back here, they actually mentioned Conrad. Conrad said CyberChef is actually pre-installed in the security on distro now.
It is.
So, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, you could upload a file to it and do a file specifically. And let's just for a second, we're gonna throw the small picture in there because I know that's small enough it'll upload. Because there's still strings in almost every file. Because all strings is doing is it gonna spit it out here? Oh, it's thinking.
Firefox is sad.
Firefox is unhappy with this. Yeah, well, welcome. We've off-roaded, y'all. This is live demo time.
This is what a CTF actually looks and feels like.
Really, let's be honest. Strings in here. We'll let this run in the background. But there's a much better way to do strings, which is to just pull up your terminal. It's built into all of your Linux distros for the most part. If you have a Linux distro and it doesn't have strings, like you got the worst Linux distro out there. But anyhow, so if we just go ls in here, we see that memory dump file right there. What we can just do is strings, and that's, don't show me everything here. Yeah, that's where I was running it on the zip file, actually. Strings, this tac n means I want it to be a length of 8. By default, it's 4. So let's just do the default here. Evidence.mem, delete all of this. And it spits out all of this various information, which hopefully Zoom is not compressing too bad so that you can't...
No, it actually is coming through pretty good.
Yeah, you should be able to see it just endlessly scrolling through this file. And did I actually even finish reading the whole question on this? I think I got distracted.
Let's go back. Let's remind our viewers.
Okay, first find the flag in the evidence.zip. The flag is hidden in the challenge of the format flag value inside of these squiggly brackets. That's the part that I forgot to tell you all about. Forgive me, this is my first time. I'm new to this. Anyhow, so we're still scrolling. Like this is it's a 2 gig memory dump. Like there's all that strings is looking for. Let's just cancel it for a second here. All that strings is looking for is ASCII characters, because it's reading hex. Like in the back end, if I were to actually pull this up in terminal, it would break my terminal because it's just raw hex. It's just computer code because it's the RAM of a computer. It's looking in that RAM to see if there's stuff that makes sense that looks like ASCII text, like could be human readable text effectively, and it's spitting that out for it. And so a lot of it is just like if it makes ASCII characters, it's good. This might be a date. It's probably not. It might just be random gibberish that is assigned in memory. But you if you scroll through some of this, you'll find some stuff like this is some of the stuff it found. 4 H's. It's just finding a lot of stuff. I was really trying to see if I could find something that was actually human readable text in here somewhere.
There was a chunk that flew by. Like just scroll and you'll see like a block of text that goes the entire.
Like if you do John's class, he does one thing where he does with strings, and it pulls out like the man page out of an executable. Out of running in RAM on a Linux computer. Come on, give me something. Let the people on the internet know you're real.
You're real. Yeah, no. If you like, is as fast as you can scroll, because just scroll like super. There was like a block of text that went across the screen, and it was clearly like some sort of notification.
This is kind of like watching strings run just in reverse.
Yeah.
There might have been something there. No. Anyhow, it will pull out things like man pages. Here we go. This program cannot be run in DOS mode. We now know we're working on a Windows computer, by the way. If you ever see this, like there's a lot of Windows exe files that start with this program cannot be ran in DOS mode. And you can look for that and be like, oh, it's an executable. Anyhow, it's actual text.
DLLs down there too.
Yeah, there's a couple DLLs. Yeah, so like we tell we're looking at like the memory of a Windows computer. We need to say like we were doing a lot of scrolling here. And yeah, Roman, I'm getting to that. So what you can do is like instead of just 4 characters, you can make it a little bit less by adding the TAC N. And so if you go TAC N8, now you got to give it a little space there. TAC N8. Now it's going to give you at least 8 characters of readable text at the same time. So now you see here we got some file paths for some DLLs. We've got it really kind of cleans it up. But again, this is still a lot to scroll through if we're actually looking for something. We have a format though. We know that it's in that form of flags, right? So you can do the next Linux tool called grep, and we can kind of cheat if we want. We just go flags or flag, and then that opening squiggly bracket, and that's one way to do it. And it'll actually probably spit out what we want.
We actually had a little anecdote. A few years ago, before I was part of the leadership team at B-Sides Orlando, we had a CTF that was run by a group. It wasn't the team that runs it now. And all of their challenges were static files.
Right.
Now, there were all kinds of stuff. It was cryptography. It was this. It was that. And someone very quickly just solved the entire CTF using strings because they just looked for the flag format and found every flag and then dumped them in. And they're like, no, that's not the way you can do it. I'm like, this is a hacker conference. You get it done however you get it done.
Yeah, that's the thing with CTFs. It's how you do it. You got to build it so you don't use static files or that your stuff is more encrypted than that or hidden better in that sense, because that's the first thing that you should do when you get a file for a CTF and they're like, see if you can find the flag, run strings on it. Absolutely, that is the hacker way to do it. So the thing is, we found what is probably our flag. But the one aspect is, and you can do this just fine. And it is literally just whatever works. Okay. This is more than refined results here that we have on the screen. I could probably, it's probably getting a little late for this, but no. Anyhow, you all can see it well enough, hopefully. Nobody told me to increase my font size in my terminal, so sorry, y'all. But you can also get really refined, because say there's still a bunch of stuff. Maybe, and it's not the first time I found challenges with fake flags in them to throw people off. But if we want to really refine it out, we know from the challenge right here that it's in the form of flag, opening squiggly bracket, value, closing squiggly bracket. We can really refine this down using a thing called regex. And because we're on an Antisyphon webcast, I feel like I'm obligated to tell you that Joff has a regex class that will teach you how to do all of this kind of stuff. But in order to do it, if we just do TAC E, which says that we're going to do a regex expression, we're going to go caret, which says at the beginning of the line, we want flag, opening squiggly bracket, and then we're going to go /period, which says escape. We're going to escape that period, and then we're going to go period star, and then we're going to close our squiggly bracket and then end it with a $sign. And what this is a regular expression format that says, all right, it needs to start with flag and then have a squiggly bracket. And then after that, it can have anything inside of this value for an undetermined amount of time. That's what the asterisk means. The reason for the / is to escape the period. And then after that, have a closing squiggly bracket and a $sign at the end means at the end of the line. Now they're saying that I can't see it. So let me see if I can real quick figure out how to make this bigger. References.
There you go. There's my font. Yeah.
Size. Let's go up to just 18. That's 11. 18. There we go. Apply. Where goes the machine? You see the CPU's up here maxed out now.
It's trying to go back and take that whole.
Oh yeah, I probably should have cleared the terminal background before I did that.
Wee.
This window might be busy. Oh, there it goes. Finally did it. No, don't terminate it. You just finished. And then close that down. Okay. Maybe it's not finished here after all. But yeah, so if you can kind of see now, hopefully this is big enough because we're not making size bigger again. But it's grep tac e. This caret, again, once, like I said, it means the beginning of the line needs to start with flag squiggly bracket. You're going to escape out. Period means any character. This asterisk means an unbound period of time, like an unbound number of characters. And then it needs to end with a closing squiggly bracket. Is this done now? No, still working on it here. I just need to hit enter. There it goes. All right. So we hit enter on that. What it's going to give you is an exactly clean output that really matches. So that's some just basic regex there. And then, yeah, hopefully it spits out correctly or it's going to make me look stupid. There it goes. So there it gives you a full flag. It matches the entire expression. And you'll notice that with grep, with this version of grep that I'm using, it actually highlights the parts that match. So here it was matching that. Now the entire thing is matched in the expression because it meets this in the middle, like anything can be there criteria. So that's kind of cool. But anyhow, let's copy that. Control C. Open up our bit there and hit submit. And boom, we have our solution. So that's all strung out. So
nice.
The newest versions of Kali use Z shell natively. Some of the newer ones do.
Yeah, and so does Mac. Mac is all Z shell now.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Sweet. My MacBook stopped upgrading, and I keep debating as to whether or not I need to go get one with Apple Silicon. But I also have like a budget, and I just can't justify it right now. But
send John an email. Just he's got an auto stamp for approve.
Well, there we go. Yeah, John, this is my cry for help. I need a Mac with Apple Silicon.
Yeah, that's all I gotta do. Put it in the email. He's like, he doesn't know.
Yeah, that's the problem I have, Gray. Is like I don't need it, but I kind of really want it. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, so yeah, Ian, what kind of questions did you see by chance, or we got things to?
No, I mean a lot of people just checking in with stuff. Just commenting on regex and commenting on some of the other pieces. So no real questions. Beyond Gray Omega wanted to know he said, "Hey, don't run Joff's class until August when his employer will pay for it." So noted.
Okay. I'll make sure to let Joff know.
Okay. I think what we'd want to chat about at this point is, you talked about retiring these challenges. Can you tell us a bit about how the challenges end up on the range and when we decide to retire them? Like you said, they just get old, but like, is there a criteria you look for? Is it, how do they end up there and how do they leave?
So there's a number of things we were doing with these challenges. They've been here for a while. So in order to get here, we have a couple different challenge writers. MetaCTF has some challenge writers that they use. Sometimes even the community sends in some challenges. So if the community wants to send us some challenges, you might be able to get some swag for some stuff like that, or So So that's just Noah at blackhillsinfosec.com. Challenge is appreciated. I will not run arbitrary code that you send me. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That was a tangent I wasn't going on. Anyhow, so we challenge writers send us challenges. If they're good, we add them into the challenge. After a while, it's time to retire them. But they either get, eventually people go and put write-ups online. That's not a license for y'all to go put write-ups online about the range challenges. Please do not. But occasionally they wind up out there. So some of them are for that. Some of them are that we have a bunch of other challenges that cover the same concepts. And so we're just going to do some new ones. Yeah, there's a number of reasons for retiring a challenge that way.
Gotcha. I'll make an offer to the folks here that when it comes to writing blog posts, and I'll do it for Cassie's sake since she's out. For the retired challenges, if you've seen a challenge like the one we did today, or other retired challenges, if you want to reach out to us and you'd like to write a blog post for the Black Hills and Antisyphon websites around how these retired challenges are solved and what you learned from them, we would love that. And we'd love to work with you and get you involved from the community to write those things up as we retire them. Obviously,
right.
We want people to be like, okay, there's the answers and we're good. We're definitely interested in that, and we are working on. We talked about it earlier today. John kind of shouted and approved it. For those of you who want to write challenges, we definitely want you to send them. We'll send you some swag, but we are working on a program that would basically pay challenge bounties for writing a challenge in the same way that you do bug bounty. We set some standards for what we need, and we're going through right now. And we've been given an edict to go through all the courses, and anywhere where we feel there's some gaps where there should be a challenge for this piece in the courseware, but it isn't there. John has told us that we can start to set up a bounty program to say, you write us a challenge that covers these topics, and you write up the solution and you write up the thing and you work with us to publish it. We will pay you actual dollars for those challenges as well. So great way to get involved in the community, especially if you're in college or you're new and you're just looking for some the joke I made, and even though this is recorded or whatnot, I'm like, college kids, it's like, hey, here's some money for weed and pizza, only where it's legal, where pizza's legal.
Yeah.
But here's some money for weed and pizza. So keep an eye out for that in Discord. That is something that we are actively putting together.
The craziest thing is, White Saber Tacos, with money you can buy swag.
Money can be exchanged.
Money is like the ultimate swag.
Services? What? What it's from The Simpsons, isn't it? Where it's like, money can be exchanged for goods and services. Say more. But yeah, no. I mean, if you want swag, we'll give you swag. I mean, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, there are benefits to swag only. It's it's first off not taxable, but
So a couple things to talk about, as we go through, please, check out some of the challenges that we have there. If you're already in the Cyber Range and you're part of Antisyphon, great. Thank you for being part of this and helping us build out new security education and being part of that community. Thank you, Noah, for taking us through these things and walking through it. And just a lot of these challenges are ones that you will actually kind of run into in the real world with.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. I did want to go back to something as we wrap up.
Sure.
You mentioned about the Morse code of the one malware, and it's like, oh well, of course we'd find that. Of course we'd find that. We're seeing right now new DNS. Oh, is it C2? And I got to go read on it. So if you're counting on me to give you expert commentary on this right now, don't. But what it's called, Snake, is popular right now. I saw Sub T tweeting about it, and it's just using old DNS tactics that tools aren't looking for anymore.
Oh
because only so fast they can look for everything, and they say, well, we don't see this attack in the wild anymore, so we don't look for it, and the attackers figure that out. So you do have to go back and say, even though these ciphers aren't really used anymore, even though these things aren't used, you still have to maintain an awareness of them, because you never know when an attacker will weaponize it in a different way. And hopefully this helps you do it.
Well, so there's other challenges. I know there's one that is a DNS cat, like network. It's a PCAP. And you have to like extract it out. It's base 64 encoded, but it's using DNS cat, or is a DNS FTP, which base 64 encodes in the domain name. So you have to carve it out and then decode with base 64 The other one that I was going to mention when we were talking about ROT 13, ROT 13 is still actively in use, just not for encryption. It's actually used a ton in Windows registry keys to store certain data. So that way Windows doesn't serialize the data directly. So it's used as almost like an encoding methodology at this point. But
yeah, to protect the system from itself.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point. So yeah, we're going to wrap up here. But Velda, if you want to come back on, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending an hour with us. Please, if you're not in the Discord now for Antisyphon, please come and sign up and join us. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff in the Antisyphon Discord soon. Where whether you're a student or whether you're a new learner or whether you just want to chat, we're going to be doing some kind of open mic nights where people can do lightning talks or whatnot. We're working that out. We're going to be putting a forum in fairly soon. We're going to be testing it with the instructors, but for students and others that want to get in and talk about different issues. But we got Velda here. Tell us a little bit what's going on with Wild West Hack and Fest and Antisyphon. So what's going on with Wild West Hack and Fest and Antisyphon? You are very muted.
I am muted. Sorry about that. I thought I had a
double mute.
Yeah, well, it's the Nebraska corn is better.
We're going back to that, are we?
No, we won't. We will not.
We're already back to corn.
No, lots of good things coming up over here. We have Wild West Hack and Fest October 18th through the 20th. We have live training on the 17th and the 18th. Lots of great things at the event. Lots of great training classes. I think we have a total of 16 that we're running. There are 2 8-day classes. You can take one or the other, or you can take them both together. There's ways to register. It's going to be a great event. Keith Adams, Leslie Carhart are both keynotes, but we have other great speakers too that have committed already, like Dave Kennedy.
Anyway, I mean, it's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It is X-File themed, so it's WWH files. Michael Allen was part of that. He's one of our testers. He came up with a theme. We think it's great. We think it's a winner. Going to do lots of fun things. Got some labs and a great badge and just all kinds of cool stuff.
So I did put a link in the Discord here that takes you, now that it seems like a really long link, but I wanted you to jump directly to it. That's Cvent, and that's our registration tool. And you can go there and that will jump you to the pre-conference training. So what Velda's talking about is we got CTI 101 with Wade Wells, which I'm really looking forward to seeing that class run live. We've got Hacking Active Directory, Fundamentals and Techniques with Dale Hobbs. We got Incident Response Foundations with Derek Banks. Intro to Offensive Tooling with Chris Trainer. Introduction to Pen Testing with John Strand. Intro to Python with Joff. Linux Command Line Dojo with Hal Pomeranz, Modern Web App Pen Testing with the BB King, Offensive Development with Greg Hatcher and John Sigerwalt, and Threat Hunting and Incident Response with Velociraptor with Eric Capano and Whitney Champion. So there are a ton of good classes. I didn't even get, I think, that was just the in-person and virtual. We have the in-person only. You can only take these classes by coming out and having fun with us in Deadwood. Advanced Endpoint Investigations with Jake Williams, Malware Jake on Twitter, Breaching the Cloud with Bo Bullock, Steve Borsch teaching Enterprise Initial Attack Access, Next Level OSINT with Michelle Kahn, Offensive C Programming. We've got, and there's a couple folks teaching that class.
I find most C programming to be offensive.
It really is. Yeah, it does. It offends me and my delicate sensibilities. And pen testing for systems and network, and then also ransomware attack simulation and investigation for blue teamers. So there's red team, there's blue team, there's fun, and everyone who comes out to Deadwood for the conference. I am not misspeaking. When you register for the training, does it come with a ticket?
A corresponding ticket, whether you register in person or virtual. Yes.
Nice. So yeah, you get the training and the conference, all for the low price of $10.95. So definitely, if you're interested, let us know. Sign up, ask us questions, get in the Discord. We'd love to answer them about what the classes are about and what they're doing. And of course, we do the big steak dinner, which we're rumoring. Are we doing the steak off? Are we going to do the steak off?
Well, there'll be a steak off. We're just not sure when and where.
Got it. Okay.
It might be like a flash mob. Like you never know when like Velda and I are going to roll out with some grills in the middle of the room and cook steak.
Now listen, this is my travel grill. Okay, this isn't the one I. For those that don't know, Wild West Hack and Fest, we have a big steak dinner, actually cooked cowboy steak dinner with the little Conestoga wagon outside. It's the whole thing. It's absolutely charming. And everyone gets together, the whole conference eats a steak dinner together. There's a mechanical bull. You learn to rope. You learn to do all this stuff, cowboy stuff, and learn some cool IT skills and meet a lot of cool people in a really cool little town. If you've never been to Deadwood, it's an interesting experience in a very good way.
We like double the size of the town with our conference.
Yeah, no, I've joked about that before, where it's like when we roll into town, we might be with staff, conference attendees, speakers, all that. We might be 51% of the town. It may be the only town in the nation on those days that is majority hacker. And I think that's pretty cool. On that note, from all of us here at Antisyphon, thank you for spending
and the Iowa Corn Board.
And the Iowa Corn Board and GCHQ, all of which sponsors of the Anticast. Thank you for joining us for an hour on this weekday and spending some time going through the Cyber Range. Noah, thank you for taking us through it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Jason and Ryan, thanks for hanging out. Velda, thanks for letting us know what's going on with Wild West Hack.
Thanks for having me.
So if you've got time and inclination, go to antisyphontraining.com and see what classes are running next week. From all of us, all of you, go forth, do good things, make good trouble. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again soon. Ryan, if you would burn it with fire, please. Or kill it with fire, too. Don't just burn it, kill it.
Thanks for watching. Achieve your next level of skills with training courses at antisyphontraining.com.